Thanks to the support as a channel member, David Grant. Well, folks, we've missed out on automatic promotion to the Premier League. However, we are guaranteed a playoff spot. Today's episode is all about finding out who we're going to play in that playoff semi-final. They all look quite tricky games. Can we have a redo? Hello and welcome to Club 2, Part 14 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our final two games of the regular league season. We're at home against Cardiff and away against Crystal Palace. Since you were last with me, more mixed form. We've won a couple of games. Taylor Richards had a little two-game purple patch where he got 3 goals in 2 games. Gooch is scoring again, which is lovely to see, as is Simon Patton. We've also picked up a draw and a defeat against teams who are around us as well. The 4 teams that have already qualified for the playoffs, in actual fact, I thought these 2 had already got automatic and it was these ones in the playoffs. So actually, everyone but us could still go up automatically. I'm kind of assuming it's going to be these 4 who are in the playoffs, though. We've just lost to West Brom, so we don't want West Brom. Watford and Bristol City are the other 2. So how have we got on against them most recently? Watford, we drew 0-0 away. Bristol City, we got battered away from home. We go back earlier in the season. This isn't boding well, is it? West Brom, we drew 1-1 with at home, so they've beat us on aggregate this year. Watford, we lost 1-0 at home. They've beaten us on aggregate this year. Bristol City, we beat 2-0 at home, but lost 4. So Bristol City are the one that we want. Although they battered us away, we beat them at home. So we could have got through on penalties against them. Bristol City, please, which actually means we might want to lose these guys. It's all very complicated. I think we just have to try and win football matches and see where we end up. Another interesting thing, I like the fact that the goal scorers chart is a passing of the torch for the posh striker conveyor belt. We have one of the early players off of the conveyor belt, Britta Sombalonga, in second place. He came off the conveyor belt in the 2013-14 season, signed for 1.3 million, scored 24 goals, sold for 5.5 million, and later for 15 million to Middlesbrough. He was certainly one of the early ones. I can't remember if he was before or after Dwight Gale. I think it went Craig McHale-Smith, Dwight Gale, Britta Sombalonga as the early ones, because I think the money went up in order. Because I think we got I don't think we got £1 million for Craig McHale-Smith. I think so. We reinvested small in Dwight Gale from Dagenham. That must be right. And when we sold Dwight Gale for big money, we reinvested it straight away to get a Sombalonga from Watford. This all seems like it adds up. But of course, Simon Patton is the latest and greatest. 30 goals in the Championship. None of the rest of them have done that. Dwight Gale did it for Newcastle, didn't he? But that wasn't for us. And Ivan Toney's probably going to do it for Brentford this year. But that wasn't for us. Simon Patton might be the best one off the conveyor belt yet. Ricky J. Jones might have something to say about that again. And I would love for him to have something to say about it. He's... hold on. Hold the phone. We've done it again. This is 2 episodes in a row. I've not picked my team before the episode starts because there's no way I'm not going to have Jones out on that left-hand side. Richards has been quite good over there, but Gooch has also been in good form. So let's just get Gooch in. Who do I want out of Richards and Palmer? I mean, Palmer, obviously. Palmer's been better as the season's gone on. Richards has had some decent form lately. He had a couple of good matches and then went back to what's been fairly typical for him. So Palmer can play in there. Gooch on the right, Jones on the left. That looks more like it to me. So we're going with Maldon in goal, who I'm told is the brother of the Maldon that we had at Kettering. There's no mention of him on there, but Louis Maldon off of Man City. It's Ted Maldon that we had at Kettering, wasn't it? Ted Maldon. Did he come through Manchester City as well? No, he came through Bolton. He was born in London and is now 23. Louis Maldon, born in Bolton, and he's 21. I mean, I guess the family could have moved. Did he start at Bolton? No, Liverpool, then Man City. Do they look alike? Louis Maldon, that's what he looks like. Ted Maldon. They're not brothers. They're not brothers, surely. Someone get them on the fact. Do the dates even add up? 9th of March, 2001. 1st of June, 2002. Yeah, numbers could just about work. Let me know, are they actually brothers? We've got Malden in goal, a back four of Devine, Anderson, Sykes and Jan Couto, McCormick and Taylor in midfield, Jones, Palmer and Gooch supporting Patton up front. Let's get into the game and let's hopefully head into the playoffs with some winning form. We've not won in a couple of games now, so we need to get some form together heading into those playoffs. We know how important form can be in a playoff run, and of course we were talking about this time last year as well. Peterborough United Football Club have a very good history in the playoffs. Only failed in the playoffs once in the history. It wasn't me. We got knocked out by Leyton Orient in the semi-finals probably 7-8 years ago in real life. I don't remember exactly when it was. That's the only time we've been in the playoffs and failed to win them. And of course, if we do get through the semi-final to the final, we have still never lost at Wembley. And I do not want to be the first manager in the history of this football club to lose at Wembley. I quite like the 100% winning at Wembley record. So that's a thing to bear in mind. Maybe we want to get knocked out in the semi-finals if we're not confident of winning the whole thing, because I don't want that record to my name. Early on, it's been a bit of a nothing game so far, but Jones has picked the ball up there. Remember, he wants to prove that he's the best striker off the conveyor belt ever. I mean, he's different in that he actually came through our youth system. Unlike all of the other ones mentioned who were bought in and then developed, Jones is always going to be loved more than the others by the Peterborough faithful because he's one of our own. But he's missed there. And that was probably the best chance of the game so far. But it starts off again, 35 minutes gone. It's Cardiff with the throw, and Cardiff trying to get an attack going down this left-hand side. But Casey Palmer makes a tackle. McCormick plays it back to Jan Couto, who has done the annoying football manager thing of signing to go and play in the MLS for next season. His contract with Man City was up. We would have absolutely looked to bring him in. People always say, what features would you like to see added to a football manager? This one's not necessarily a feature. But I would like to be able to say to a loan player like that, he's in the club on loan, he's having a good time, he's part of a winning team. His contract's up with Man City, and obviously because we're in England as well, we can't offer him a pre-contract. I get that. I'm not asking for us to be able to tap him up and do stuff that you can't do in real life. But what I could have done in real life is just taken him to one side and said, Jan, I know you're considering this move to the MLS, and I'm sure you'll have a lovely time if you go there. Just bear in mind, though, I would like to sign you in the summer. Obviously, I can't offer you a contract yet, but when the time comes, I will be offering you a contract. Just something for you to bear in mind. We might be in the Premier League next year, so rather than heading off to the MLS for a retirement at 21 years old, you could be playing in the Premier League for us. Just going to leave that out there as a thing for you to ponder while you decide whether, as a young, talented footballer leaving Manchester City, it's that important to sign a pre-contract in March, or could you maybe wait until the end of the season and see what your options are then? But that option's not there. So before we've even had a chance to discuss terms, we've had to wave goodbye, and he's going to be off. I think he's playing for Seattle. Now, I know the way around it would have been for us to agree a fee with Manchester City and bring him in that way. The only problem is, well, there's two problems. Problem number one is we did do that, but the fee's like £1.5 million, and I do begrudge paying £1.5 million for him. And we're going to bring Lawrence on for him here. I do begrudge not playing. I begrudge paying £1.5 million for him when we could get him for free in the summer, even though obviously now we can't. But also when we did that, his wage demands were too high, and we almost brought him in back in January, but he wanted 25,000 plus a week, which at the time we did. I mean, we were in free fall at the time. I'm going to try Jones up front. We're going to take Patton off and bring Richards on, and just stick Palmer out there. Richards in behind Jones up front, and see if that leads to a breakthrough. I think that's one of the first times Jones has played up front in this system. He's played up alongside Patton before, but not up front on his own. But yeah, with Couto, I didn't really want to commit to that kind of salary for him if we weren't going to be in the Premier League. And that's kind of the thing. I don't even really want to be able to offer him a pre-contract, because if we don't go up, I don't want him. I don't want to commit to that kind of salary and be stuck in this division. But I do want to be able to say to him, look, if we go up, I'm absolutely offering you a contract, because you'll have been part of the team that's got us there. And I don't think we'll find a better right back for next season, regardless of what league we're in. But it's not to be. He's gone. The search for a right back continues. Henry Lawrence, as it stands, is probably going to have to play right back again next year, which he's apparently now a natural at. We've played him there so much this year. He is now a natural right back. I still think he's a better player in midfield, but he's a natural right back now, boys and girls. Right, let's go and play our final game of the season. It would be nice to score a goal. We've not done that for a little while. So if we could grab a goal against Crystal Palace, that would be lovely. Right, no changes for the Palace game. The only one really probably would have involved Richards, but he's picked up an injury and he's probably going to miss the playoffs now. So I would have considered bringing him in somewhere in that front three because he'd been half decent recently, but that has now gone. Itete is now fit enough to be back on the bench, but still not fit enough to be involved. So we're keeping the front four as it was for that last game, even though it wasn't particularly effective. I'm leaning towards sticking Patton out wide and Itete up front and doing that again, which has never really worked. But then this has never really worked for, well, I say it's never really worked. Between Jones and Patton, they've got like 45 goals this season. So it obviously has worked for long stretches of the season. But it's never been something I can consistently rely on. And in the playoffs, that's kind of what I need. I need something I can consistently rely on. And I guess this is the problem with having an average age of 20 in my two best attacking players. They are obviously going to have some inconsistency as they're younger. Cross comes in from Couto and it's headed clear by the Palace defender. And now they're bursting free on this right-hand side. How have they still got Zaha when they're in the Championship? That just feels a little bit unfair. I'm sat here with Lyndon Gooch on my right wing and they've got Wilfred Zaha. This is the unlevel playing field that we're playing in. And they've obviously scored as a result of it. I'm starting to... I know a lot of you have said, you know, you're at the team you support, stay there forever. I won't, because it's non-league to legend. And I am starting to... I won't say I've got itchy feet yet, but stuff like that is starting to get a little bit frustrating, knowing that we're trying to compete at the top end of this division. And, I mean, where are Palace? Palace are one place below us. They're just outside of these playoffs. And they've got a player like that who's probably earning as much as our entire first 11 put together. That might be a slight exaggeration, but I bet he's not far away. And look at what he's doing to us. He's absolutely ruining us. We don't have anyone of that level. We can't ever hope to have anybody of that level. And it's really frustrating. And I do worry that if we don't go up this year, which, I mean, the form we're in currently, this will be 4 games without a win going into the playoffs. It's not looking very hopeful for promotion this year. So if we don't go up this year, I don't expect us to be in the playoffs again next time round, because I think we're where we are now because of how brightly we started. We had that excellent first half of the season where we were like 6 or 7 points clear at the top of the league at one point. And ever since then, ever since Christmas, really, it's been, I'm losing the ability to talk. I'm so sad about it. Let's have a sip of coffee to loosen up the vocal cords. But ever since Christmas, it's been a battle to cling on and try and stay in the promotion hunt. And we've managed to do it. But I don't expect us to start next season the way we started this season. We're not going to be able to go out and bring in players the calibre of Wilfred Zaha and compete with the likes of this Palace side, who obviously will look at us and think, how are they in the playoffs when we're not? They'll be a team to be afraid of next year. If 3 teams in the top 6 that don't get promoted, it'll be worth being afraid of next year. Jones has done really well there. That's some nice football from us. The 3 teams getting relegated from the Premier League. I mean, we saw what happened to us against Aston Villa earlier in the year. They're coming down. That's another team better than us. And I look at our wage budget and our off-the-field structure and all that kind of stuff, and I kind of feel like it's now or never for us. If we're going to get into the Premier League, we've got to capitalise on the situation we've got ourselves in at the moment and just fluke our way in there this year and then try and stay there. But even if we don't, at least we come back down with a huge sack of cash and all of a sudden we can compete with these teams at the top of the Championship. And I know this is it's a thing that goes on in real life. Show me something different in this second half. The top of the Championship is dominated by teams who've got their Premier League parachute payments or rich owners. And it's, I mean, this is where everyone says it gives me examples of teams that doesn't apply to. I know. But by and large, the better teams in the championship are the ones with the most money. And we're not going to be that team. So I think if we don't go up this year, we're going to have to lean even more into becoming a Brentford. And it might involve having to sell some of our best players. I've talked all year about Patton being a £30 million player. And I think if we don't go up, if we get that kind of offer for him, and I don't know that we will in Football Manager, in real life, we absolutely get a £30 million offer for Patton this summer and we sell him. But if in game, I don't know, what's the price we sell him for to then use that money to rebuild the team for next year? Because it was quite nice having a 12, 15 million pound budget this year, and we've been able to put together a good side, but we need that money again, and we don't have it. That money was the money the club had from selling Ricky J. Jones the year before. We've spent half of it bringing him back, and we've not got that money in the bank now, so we can't go out and spend again this summer and improve the team the way we did last year. So I do worry. Like I say, it's now or never. Right, we're going to take off Couto, who just doesn't seem up for it. Since his fancy MLS move's been arranged, he does not seem up for it at all. Gooch with the throw. We're trying Malachi Walcott at centre-back with Sykes out at right-back. Sykes is 6'4". I don't know that he's built to be a right-back, but apparently he can play there. I don't think I've ever played him there before. But you never know. He might be a better option than Lawrence in there. Who knows? Palace on the attack again. And there only looks like being one team who are going to grab the next goal. And it's not us. Spoilers. Jack Taylor interrupts the attack momentarily. But Palace do get it into the back of the net. It's disallowed, though, which gives us a little glimmer of hope that maybe with these substitutions that are happening now, we can shuffle ourselves around a little bit and find a way back in, grab ourselves a goal from a corner or something, and grab a draw. At least get, no, I was hoping we could at least get something resembling any kind of momentum going into these playoffs. The only momentum we've got is downward momentum, and no one's going to back us. No one's going to give us a chance in these playoffs, which I guess, true underdogs, not a bad situation to be in. It looks like we are going to be facing Bristol City, which is the team we fancied most out of the four. I guess we have a chance. I don't think it's much of a chance. Even if we get past Bristol City, both of the other two, West Brom and Watford, have consistently been able to beat us this year. And I don't rate our chances of getting past them at Wembley. And they've, of course, got that lovely parachute money. So they've, just look at the teams that there. Leeds, West Brom, Watford of the top six. Palace as well in the top seven with the parachute money. And then I guess, I don't know, Swansea, Bristol City, where have they got their money from? Do they have rich owners? They're obviously established clubs at this level, so they're going to have more money than us. We were underdogs, good effort. They've finished below us in the league. It wasn't a good effort. It wasn't good enough. Right. Okay. McCormick's injured and is going to miss the playoffs. He was obviously the hero of the playoffs last year. So that's a big blow. Losing our captain and our playoff hero from last year. It's going to be tricky. Let's just get confirmation that it is Bristol City that we're going to be playing. Leeds have gone up as champions. There you go. We've had a scout report on Michael Beagles, who's one of our name in the game players from the Kettering youth team. Michael, sorry to say, that's probably where you're going to be staying. I don't think you're up to coming to join the mighty posh, but we haven't had confirmation. I'm assuming it is Bristol City because there's your final league table, and that will be tomorrow's episode. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.